An exciting day. My little nephew Levi could be getting his very first 3D printer. This is the tiniest, cutest thing from Geeetech, the M1 Mini. But is it good enough not to be a disappointment for an 11-year-old? Sorry Geeetech, but I'm going to be even more critical and thorough than I'm with larger and more expensive devices, because safety and success with this printer could have a long-term impact on a child with a budding interest for technology. So, this will be an unusual unboxing and review video with a little setup guide and eventually a lot of fun. Most of us bought or built our first 3D printers as adults. Just imagine if you had gotten a magic device like this when you were little. We'll even share our improvements to the M1 Mini along the way, so stick around. This is Gergo, and welcome to Gergo Print 3D, our YouTube channel chronicling our adventures in 3D printing and other DIY projects. If you like this one, check out our growing collection of videos. We've been at this for 2 years now. And as always, I aim to improve your viewing experience with curated, translation-ready subtitles and detailed chapter markers. Just to be clear, this printer was sent to us by Geeetech for a review. I didn't have to pay for it. I accepted their offer because on paper it seemed like a great fit for my favorite little nephew. But he'll only get it if it proves to be good enough and, more importantly, perfectly safe to use. Let's quickly go through the specs. The most striking thing is its tiny footprint. At just 20 by 27 centimeters, less than a letter-sized sheet of paper, it will fit on any child's desk or shelf. It's only 30 centimeters tall, but you will need a little more than a foot of vertical space to accommodate for the filament tube. The Betzlinger architecture is half enclosed, which is a smart safety decision in my opinion. For such a small device, a build volume of just 105 by 105 by 95 millimeters feels proportional. The 2.4-inch color LCD on top presents a feature-rich and well-organized user interface controlled by the usual clicky wheel. The rest of the specs are just as promising. Direct drive extruder, textured single-sided PI sheet, temperature limits of 230 for nozzle, 60°C for bed, adequate for PLA and TPU. ABS is not suitable for kids, and even keeping PETG dry would be unnecessary trouble for a kid. Linear bearings and double linear rods on all axes, with 3 linear bearings under the bed. High torque NEMO 17 motors for a solid motion system. A compact yet sufficient extruder motor, complete with a gear tensioning screw and release lever. Strong part cooling thanks to a 5015 blower in the toolhead. No wireless or even wired connectivity though. It can only print off a micro SD card, which comes included. When it comes to safety, everything is as it should be. External power supply, a safe 24 volts enters the printer. The half-enclosed design provides good protection from moving parts.
This is going very well.
Relatively low bed temperature is safe to touch, while the nozzle is well hidden and can't be heated beyond what's necessary for basic filaments. A few more impressive features: fully automatic Z offset setting and 16-point bed mesh leveling via direct nozzle probing. Input shaper and pressure advance pre-calibrated in the firmware. Bright chamber lights from multiple directions, built-in filament runout sensor and a filament holder for 500 gram spools. And finally, we are getting well-tuned Orca slicer profiles for various nozzle sizes. The portable version of the slicer comes on the included microSD card. Off to a good start, on paper at least. This printer is for Levi, but of course I was too curious to wait for his next visit. I had to take a peek. I even came up with an alibi. I needed to make sure everything was safe and operational to avoid disappointment. And I'm so glad I did. Everything turned out to be safe, but there were a few issues right out of the box that could have ruined the first impressions, starting with all the pre-sliced models failing. The first 3D benchy failed due to poor bed adhesion. After applying some glue stick, the second attempt got further but failed halfway because of inconsistent extrusion. The 1-hour cat model had a promising start, but it also failed near the top for the same reason. While retrying the 29-minute benchy, I finally realized the problem. The extruder tension was set incorrectly. Counterintuitively, it was too tight right out of the box. Using the adjustment screw on the extruder, I lowered the tension and immediately saw the extrusion becoming more consistent. So I canceled the print, but at this point I was so confident in the fix that I jumped straight into the most ambitious print yet, this articulating turtle model by Dream Team. And it came out amazing. I was blown away by the surface quality, excellent cooling, no Z-banding, a perfect first layer, and spot-on clearances. All the ligaments moved freely. And that's when my initial disappointment turned into pure excitement. To make sure this wasn't just a lucky print, I quickly sliced and printed my favorite keychain whistle. Another success. One last issue to address. Up until now, you've seen it, I had been feeding the filament from the Sunlu filament dryer we recently got from Geek Buying, because the M1 is so tiny that regular 1 kilogram spools wouldn't fit on its original spool holder. Geeetech provides a 3D printable mod, but it's unnecessarily large and nearly impossible to print without an insane amount of supports. So instead, I designed my own spool holder adapter over 4 prototypes, utilizing the original spool holder rod and fitting into its socket on the side of the printer. Check out my recently posted YouTube short on this little side project. This was the last thing I printed on the M1 Mini before packing everything up for the real unboxing. The 4 kilogram package is already a child-friendly size. I made sure it was taped closed as new. Levi found the guide pages and accessories at the top, an unclogging needle, a 4GB micro SD card, and a spare 0.4mm nozzle. I was especially happy to see a pair of tweezers included. This means he won't have to touch hot filament directly. The only tools provided are a single Allen key,
Engineer tool for cars,
and a spanner wrench for maintenance, since the printer itself is fully assembled in the lower part of the box. Now I have to admit, the card reader in the box was my sneaky addition, but I'll be recommending Geeetech include one in future batches. The flat cutter was probably deliberately left out, but Levi is already familiar with using this tool safely. Also, you won't find a glue stick in the box, though it turned out to be necessary for proper bed adhesion. We'll install this 3D printed 1 kilogram spool adapter in a minute. I didn't want him to have to wait for that to be printed first.
Next is this box.
That's the power supply.
Are you sure about that?
At this point, Levi definitely started suspecting that I had already peeked inside the box, especially when I correctly guessed the contents of the smaller accessory box.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well, you're right.
I really like the idea of an external power supply. This means nothing inside the printer will have more than 24 volts, making it safer. A quick unboxing tip. It's best to lay the box on its side and slide out the styrofoam encasing horizontally. Levi didn't do it this way, but luckily everything survived. A quick, satisfying peel, and then it was time to remove the 3 foam blocks securing the tool head and print bed. It's a good idea to hang on to these for future transport. Since I had already removed the 3 zip ties securing the moving parts, Levi didn't have to bother with them here. If I were Geeetech, I'd color code these zip ties in red or another bright color. It would prevent an over-enthusiastic little owner from accidentally snipping a timing belt inside. Just look at his excitement. The normal sized extruder looks comically huge compared to the tiny machine. We started by inserting the filament holder, and this is the moment I could no longer deny my preparations. The adapter I included had our YouTube channel's name printed on it. It's best to secure the adapter first and then insert the original spool rod into it. When inserting the included PTFE tube, make sure to push down the collars on both the filament runout sensor and the extruder's top fittings. Levi put a surprising amount of force on the gantry while doing this, but let's take a moment to appreciate how sturdy the frame of this printer is. The single-sided PEI sheet feels thicker than usual, maybe due to its smaller area. We took the opportunity to clean it, then applied glue stick diluted with water using an old toothbrush, our method. This trick helps ensure proper adhesion and even spread. Now it was time to connect the power, and on the count of 3, power on. I actually like that the controller board on the back is exposed. It makes the components easy to see, great for learning. And remember, there is no more than 24 volts anywhere inside, so it's absolutely safe. The first thing to do after powering on is to carry out the auto level process. I did this earlier. The tool had homes using limit switches on all 3 axes, then heats the bed to 50 Celsius before probing 16 points using the modern pressure sensors built into the print head. Only our K2 Plus and Cobra 3 printers have this advanced probing system. With Levi, we loaded the filament straight from a full-size spool. The extended PTFE tube on the bottom of the runout sensor is also my addition to help with routing from the larger spool. As with other printers, be sure to cut the end of the filament at a 45-degree angle. The flat cutter helps with this. Levi has learned never to let go the end of the filament.
I don't have 3 hands. Sorry.
You have 2 hands and the mouth. The menu navigation is familiar to him. You have to click, just like the SVO8.
Oh.
Go down to prepare and load filament, right? Preheat PLA. You have to choose which type of filament you are loading. The nozzle takes about a minute to heat. Then we need to click again to actually start loading. The printer will beep like crazy when it has reached the target temperature. I like their filament load and unload procedures. A couple of our bigger machines could learn from the little M1 Mini. Levi then chose this fidget star as his first print, which foreshadows the biggest limitation of this device, the tiny print volume. We had to scale it down to 95% to fit. But Levi feels right at home in Orca Slicer and could do this on his own. Before preparing the microSD card, I recommended preheating the print bed since it takes 2-3 minutes. Why not start the print that much quicker? The lack of Wi-Fi capabilities is a bit of a letdown, but exporting the G-code file isn't that difficult. Just don't forget to eject the card before removing it. File selection on the device screen is snappy, and off we go. After homing, we always stay to watch the first layer print. As we do, we marvel at how silent the fans and motors are. Even at the next layer, when the part cooling fan spins up, the noise levels still remain comfortable. This wasn't actually a simple first print. The small contact surface tested bed adhesion, the slight overhangs tested part cooling, and the flow rate was good with consistent extrusion. The print took about 90 minutes to complete, giving us time to play the new balance game we recently printed using many of our other printers all at once. We'll have a video about that soon. Our first print.
In the Geeetech M1.
Amazing print quality, really.
And a very good fidget toy.
Finally, we switched filaments. Conjure Magic PLA Green. We got a bunch of these 200-gram spools from Chitu Systems last summer. They make a great starter kit for Levi, offering a good selection of colors. They all print very well, and the spool size is ideal for the mini printer. If you'd like to check out their selection, I've put links in the description below. At last, we printed this low poly Bulbasaur, which was another perfect success. So Levi did get the printer, even though I told you I'd be more critical of this device than usual. Some limitations are intrinsic and by no means deal breakers, and the lack of Wi-Fi connectivity, initial bad adhesion issues, and the limited build volume can all be worked around. Just thinking about how this beginner's device blows my first 3D printer out of the water, one I was still using just 3 years ago, is astonishing. Features like a PI bed, auto leveling, input shaping, and even filament runout sensor make learning this hobby so much more fun. They got all the essentials right and much more. The tiny size and friendly appearance fit well in a child's room. The half-enclosed design and good internal lighting lets kids see the prints while staying protected. Safe and quiet operation make it an appealing device. But it's not a toy. While I wouldn't recommend letting a child print unsupervised, this printer is far from just a plaything. Its no-compromise, rich feature set enables high-quality prints and successful projects while teaching the use of industry-standard slicers and file formats and real 3D printing concepts. Thank you, Geeetech. You've made this boy very happy. We plan to post shorts here on YouTube about the fun things Levi creates with the M1 Mini in the coming months. Be sure to subscribe to stay updated. And if you decide to get the Geeetech M1 Mini for a youngster in your life, we've provided links and possibly some coupon codes in the description below. If you already have a 3D printer, see how much fun we had with this budget 3D scanner in this video, and check out more kid-friendly projects in this playlist. Just be sure to go print 3D. Thank you for joining us for this Gergo Print 3D video.